Anyway,
Can people hear me? I don't know if it's just my phone or...
I'm moving you
No,
all
we
down
Logan, we
here.
can't hear you.
You're all getting moved down. All of you. Okay.
I refuse!
Fuck, no! None of this. I will take none of this. Alright. At the beginning of this round, we crowned a Shogun, and that Shogun was Snowy. Snowy saved himself, Logan, Air, and Mayo. Later on in the round, Sam was crowned Sam won the arson comp, so yeah, it became the arsonist. And then Sam switched TCC and Logan, giving TCC safety at Logan's expense. Go back down. No, bad. With 3 votes, Sam was then elected president and became president arsonist, nominating Logan and Yushki, who now stand before you for your righteous judgment. Who will you eliminate? Logan, you want to give an opening statement first?
Sure. I guess it's easier because I can't really hear, so I guess if I just speak... Alright, so... I feel like a lot of things happened in this week that really weren't in my control. I mean, I lost the Shogun by a single level because I can't do memory tests. Then I lost Arsonist by only a few thousand points because I don't even know how Sam got that many points because that's freaking hard. And I had safety taken away from me when it was quite literally the only week I felt safe because I had safety for once. But I feel like the main thing I want to say is that despite all of it, because like a lot of things have happened during this game, I truly feel like it would be in your best consideration to actually keep me, because I don't think I am a threat to any of your games, and I truly don't believe taking me out is a really good move, because I truly don't really have any allies. So I feel like keeping me gives you a free person that will actually work with you. And I'm not good at a lot of things, so you'd probably be able to take me out anytime anyway. So I really want to stay. Simple as that. I really don't think I've played too much yet, so that's my start, I guess. Yeah.
Alright. Yushki, you want to give a statement? If your computer lets you. Yushki. Yushki.
Okay, it did the thing again. It did the thing where like it wouldn't let me join up. Okay. So my opening statement's pretty simple. I'm just an average player at this point because I've won one competition barely because me and Snowy had to agree on it, obviously. I haven't done much really. I've just followed other people. I believe I've been safe most of the rounds, which is 100% true. I'm just being honest here. But the thing I think Logan failed to point out, if you have been unsafe every single round, except this round where you were safe and then unsafe, doesn't this prove that you have a good enough social game to not be nominated to be voted off at all throughout every single round? Doesn't that prove that you have not a strategic game or a challenge-based game, but a social game? So I believe that this shouldn't go down to who's won a challenge or not, which I've only won one. Logan hasn't won any. That's just a fact. I believe it should go down to who on earth can stay alive for the longest in the worst position, which is Logan. Yeah.
Alright. Logan.
I kind of found that a little funny, to be honest, because I can kind of say the same thing to you, because you can't go, oh, I survived the longest in the worst position, because, yeah, I've been unsafe the whole time, but have I really been a threat to anyone? Because first time it was Cash and Ace, or no, it was Cash and Air, and Cash went home because he wasn't playing the game, and then Caden went home because he was just a mess of a player. Ace, because how many? I feel like just because I've been unsafe, wouldn't it also make sense for you to be in a better position because you have been safe every time? You've been in the safe position, I think, every single time someone has won the showdown. Which, while yes, you might say I might have the better social game, but do I really have a good social game if no one is willing to save me? And which is why, in my opinion, I feel like you're wrong, and I feel like you actually have the better social game when it comes with you being safe.
Okay,
So I think
I
you're.
can explain that pretty easily. So first off, I believe one time I wasn't safe, and then the arsonist saved me because they were already safe. Second off, no, there are only wait, sorry, I'm selling with my words. There has only been a select few players who have won Shogun or Arsonist. And those people, I've just known from prior experience. That's it. That's it. That's the only reason why they saved me. I've There was a huge list of players they could choose from. They decided to keep threats out of that circle. That simple. I become safe because I'm not a threat in the game.
So you were able to be safe because of past connections that I simply don't have with any of the cast. Because, yeah,
Because
you know people, doesn't that
like I
make you a
said,
bigger threat? Because if people know you, then aren't they going to be more willing to say vote you in the end against someone like me or Snowy, who doesn't really know anyone but is trying their hardest to get
there's
through
a
the game?
there is a big difference between relationships made inside the game and outside the game. Outside the game, it won't last the entire game. If, let's say, I blindsided a player who I knew pretty well before, they're not going to vote for me in the end because I blindsided them. It's pretty simple.
But
Okay?
that
What
doesn't really
happens
make
in
sense. Why
game,
would they vote?
the most.
Why would they not vote you to win for blindsiding you? Like, that seems.
Have you heard of the
Why
salty?
would they not vote you to win just because of a move that you made to get you further into the game and to win?
Hmm.
Because it simply just seems like you're trying to defend yourself by saying you weren't in a good spot and you haven't done anything when you didn't have to do anything because
I've
your
been in.
social game has been
I'll tell you this.
carrying you the whole time.
I have been in a good spot the entire game because I've been
And
safe
I haven't.
for the rounds. Yes.
So
Yeah.
you think I should go simply because no one wants to work with me?
I believe you should go because you've been able to stay in that situation
I
for so long.
haven't done anything. I haven't been the target because everyone else has been doing more than me. Cash went home because that was simply a consensus made by everyone.
Cash went home because
And
of
then
consensus
Caden
made.
went home
Caden went home
because I
because
was not a
yeah,
target that day. Caden was because no one liked Caden.
yes,
And
because
then I was simply the president when Athon went home. And that was when I was trying to make a move, which wasn't even a good move because I didn't even know who
here's the
to
thing.
freaking
If
vote.
my social game was so good like you claim it to be, how did I only get one vote, which was you, and you've already won president before?
I got 2 votes because I have simply 2 allies. You guys have made a plan, and I can tell.
I'm talking
Because there
about
was
before.
no
You
reason
said
for
you just said
Samo to
you
be
became
arson and
president.
yet not save anyone
You said you
except for
became
TCC.
president before.
I know you guys are together. I feel
Um,
like there's a
no,
pretty big group together,
ignoring
which
my
is
question.
why this is
Ignoring my
going
question.
on. Because
I
there
was
would be
talking.
no reason for Sam to save themselves. Because they weren't safe. So why would they make TCC safe and not himself? Unless you had a plan. You have a group, and I can tell,
I
because
do
there
not
would
have
be
a
no
group.
reason Do you know why Sam saved TCC?
I don't know why Sam saved TCC. I do not know why Sam put me and you in specifically. I don't know that. I'm in the same position as you at the moment.
But you can't say that I deserve to go home because I got one more vote for president, which doesn't even make sense.
You said you became the president though. Or was that me just mishearing you?
I was the president the time before. I was president second, I think.
So you're saying that you've had a strong enough social game to get enough people to vote for you to become the president?
No, because I was only president by
it's still
one
a
extra
majority
vote.
Still a
And that was simply because I was the only one going for president at that time. Because if you look, none of the other people asked for president during that time, except for maybe Ace, who I think was going for
You
it.
still had a strong enough social game to get enough players to vote for you to become the president.
I didn't have a social game. I was simply asking people to vote me for president because I wanted to be president, because I was sick of being on the bottom, because I've been on the bottom this whole game, which is, again, another reason on why I don't think I should go home, because I'm simply not a target here. I only became president because I was the only one going for it, and they're like, oh, well, he'll just do it. Because if you look through the group, that's Anton, Colin, me, Snowy, and Ace. Anton and Colin are gone. I'm probably going home next. And, like, these are people that aren't in your group, which was why you didn't care who won.
Here's the difference between the situation we're in. I've been safe almost every single round. You've been safe never a single round. I have only become a position of power because of a tie that the other person agreed to, Snowy, to me holding the power, but we split. I haven't had a full position of power once this entire game. You have had a position of power. Whether you call that by luck because you won by one vote, or whether you just say it was skill, you've had a position of power.
If you're saying that, you can say, yeah, president is a position of power, but that power is given to people who simply don't have power. Like, it's given to those people as a second chance.
In my opinion,
because I was already picked as being unsafe while you were safe. You didn't need power, which is why you didn't have power, because you were already safe from other people. So that's what I'm trying to confuse, because I'm confused, because you keep saying I'm a threat because I had a position of power, or I've made the social game. But how is my social game better when you were the one that's been safe every single time?
Okay.
Logan, let's pretend. No, I want to keep talking, Ghost. I like talking. Alright. So let's pretend this is final 2 right now, Logan. Who are people going to vote for? The person who had to share a role and was safe every round, or the person who fought their way through to the end and got a position of power?
So you think I would win simply because I have this underdog story? When that's not really true, because people wouldn't vote for me because I wasn't their ally. They'd be like, oh, well, yeah, he was unsafe, but he wasn't actually nominated until a few times. Because you have your allies, which is why you were safe. And if people were going to vote between their ally or someone that was simply just being nominated or unsafe because they didn't know who they were, people are obviously going to vote their ally.
People know who you are, Logan.
So you using the example of me and you being in the final 2 makes no sense, because you would obviously win due to the fact that you had a better social game than me, and you have more power because you have allies.
In my opinion, I would not win a final 2 against you due to the fact
Okay, in my opinion, you
done
would.
nothing this entire game except stand around and somehow.
You're saying that my social game is so good, but I'm not safe. No one saved me. From all the different people that have won the Shogun, not a single person except for Snowy decided I would be good enough saving. They all thought if I went home, oh well, it wouldn't matter. Because that's the point of being unsafe, is they have a chance of going home. So every single person that said I was unsafe are people who wouldn't mind seeing me leave. Unlike you, who everyone wants to see you stay, which means you're a threat in the social game because you are a good player like that.
Let's
Everyone trusts you socially, which is why you haven't been unsafe. They think you're a good ally, which is why you should go, because if you're a good ally, you're going to have a better game in the end, and you're going to have a better story to win in the final two.
Didn't at the start you say that I should be voted off because you can be a better ally for people? And now you're bringing up the point of me being a better ally for people, so I should be voted off? Isn't that kind of hypocritical?
If you're a better ally, then that's going to be bad for the people who are being your ally, because
But
they're
you
going
claim
to
that you
take you
claim
to
that
the
about
end
yourself at the
because
start.
you are being
You
loyal to them.
you claim
They're
that
going
at
to
the
take you to the
start
end, and
about
then you're
yourself.
going to
which-
win.
so but you claim that about yourself at the start. You said I should be. You should
This
vote
is
Yushki because
simply a
I'm a better
debate
ally and I'll
between
be able to vote off.
if you are going to vote for the underdog or for the person that has power. So if you really believe that me, someone who has won a single arsonist comp for the first
Me
one
who?
and saved myself,
Oh,
and
you
if you
said you got
really
an.
think that me
So you
winning a
also
single arsonist
so.
and getting
Oh, okay.
one vote,
That's good to know. So Logan, you've become the
if you
arsonist
truly think
and the
that's gonna
president.
make me win the whole season,
That's good to know. So Logan, you are stating that you have been the arsonist and the president
once.
once, correct? Only a select few people have been president, shogun, or arsonist. I have only gotten in a position of power because Snowy, like I've
But
said,
this game isn't
shared
based
it with
on
me.
winning challenges. So
It's
just because
called power. There's legit two competitions that give you position of power, and then the one where
I
you get
won
voted.
a
You've
single
won one competition and have won a vote for people to vote for you. You have both aspects. That
but
is
I
just
won
a fact
arsonist because
from
there
the
were people
numbers.
not even playing the game or
It's
weren't
just a
even trying
fact
to
from
win
the numbers.
arsonist, which is why I won that, because I was one of the only few people trying to go for that win
And you one who
anyways.
can win arsonist
And
will
I
try
got
to win
president because I
arsonist.
was the only one going for it. The only reasons why I have power in those times was because I was the only one that wanted that power, and I actually went for it. So no, I didn't beat this
man.
whole cast in getting the things that I
Don't
wanted, because no one else went for those things.
the numbers don't lie.
So I'm simply gonna say it now. I feel like to the only two people that are listening to this, Ace and Snowy, I feel like it would be best for you to get out Yushki, because I'm simply not a threat to anyone, including Jerry. Jerry does not think I deserve to win. I wouldn't vote myself to win because I don't think I played a good game yet.
Personally, if you made it to the end at the rate you're going at, I'd vote for you to win.
If I made it to the end, the only thing I would have in my belt would be that arsonist win and the one time I got president,
And that
where
you made it
Aethon
to
went
the
home.
end without
I
being
simply
safe for
don't have
so
anything
bad.
else. I don't have any allies. No one's
That
gonna keep me
made it to
safe.
the end of the game.
No one's gonna want to vote for me because I haven't worked with them.
If no one's gonna keep you safe, like you just said, doesn't that mean when you get to the end, you have never been safe once? Meaning that basically you
I
made it to
can
the
use
end
that as a way to try to get votes, but that doesn't
purely by a
mean
social game. Meaning you live, yeah.
I
So
can use that as some sort of like underdog story on why I should win, but that doesn't mean people are gonna vote for me just because I haven't been safe. In fact, that's probably a reason why
people
people
do
won't
that.
vote for me, because I
No,
haven't been
people do that
safe.
a lot.
Because I haven't had the allies trying to save me
No,
from
people
winning.
do vote for the underdog. Key example: Ripviver Season 2.
People are not gonna vote for an underdog.
People vote for the player who wrote a better speech or played a more honorable game. Not being able to vote someone off to have control of power, and being able to make it to the end without floating per se, is a good story to get voted on in the end. And that's just a fact.
I still don't understand your logic of I'm say an underdog or how I deserve to win because I haven't been safe. That doesn't make sense. In fact, that's quite the opposite. I would vote for someone who's been safe, who's had power, who's been good at the game, who's had a strong social game, who's had allies to keep them safe. I
Keyword.
wouldn't want to
No, no,
vote
no,
for
no, no.
someone
There's a
that has
keyword
been
in that sentence you
losing
said.
every single
Logan.
game
Logan, there's a
and who doesn't have
keyword in
any
the
allies who want to keep him safe and has been in
keyword.
danger of going home
Logan,
every single time.
there's a keyword in the sentence you just said. I would vote for the person. Okay? I have
No
two
one would vote
examples.
for me.
I have
Just
two
because I said
examples where
I doesn't mean
underdogs.
I'm
I
only
have two
talking about
examples,
myself.
one from a speed, one from a long term,
There's
where
multiple
people
people that I
voted
know
for the
that wouldn't vote
underdog.
for an underdog. They would vote for someone that had strong power.
Name them then. There you go. So I have two examples of where the underdog was voted to win. It was a Reviver Speed, where the where one player, Luke 1, had won almost every single challenge there was. The other player, Sheba, had a strong social game and won a few challenges. Who do you think won? Sheba,
I'm
because
not listening.
he was the underdog, he got more votes, because people believed he played the more honorable game. Reviver Season 2, this does involve me. I made it to the end by playing villain and just play other
Okay,
players,
so
Xander.
So
Oh,
you think
shush your mouth. I want to keep talking.
you have a closing statement if you want to say this
I'm
after, but the two
okay.
people
This
kind
is
of want to ask questions, and this has gone on for
okay.
a
This will be
while.
my closing statement then. Okay.
So,
Closing
what?
statement is that players have been known
We're one
underdog
second.
depending on who they think played the more honorable game. Someone who made it to the end without being safe once does deserve to win if they played correctly.
uh, I'm
Okay.
simply going to use my final statement as a counter argument because
Can
technically, wouldn't you have the more honorable game if you have been with your allies and have been safe the whole time? Because technically, I've been lying to people. I lied to Ace once, and I'm sorry about that. But I lied to Ace saying that if he voted for me, I wouldn't nominate him, and yet I nominated him
can I
first.
just specify the people who are voting get to ask a question to each
Yes, I
of
know.
you,
That's
and
why I
then you
stopped.
can have your final statement. So,
Oh,
Ace, you may come up now.
welcome to the most
Hey.
chaotic
Okay,
competition.
well, holy fuck. What was the reason for lying?
Okay, so if I look really quick, when I was president, let me
You put
look
Aethon.
real quick. Okay, so when I was president, if I was president, there was only 4 people I could nominate here: Athon, Colin, Snowy, and you. All right, so I was pretty limited.
That's a nice microphone you got there.
Something happened?
Ace, you have any questions for me while we wait?
Oh, am I not the only one lagging? Alright.
So yeah,
No.
like when I was,
Logan, you completely cut out for like 10 seconds there.
Yeah.
what
I
did you
didn't
hear
hear what
last?
You
you
starting your
said you're
sentence.
very limited. You said you're very limited in options, and you just cut off
Yeah,
for like
okay,
the rest
I'm
of the
sorry.
Can we
Yeah, I was very
what
limited on
was
my options of who to nominate because I had to nominate half of the cast. No, not half of the people that were not safe. So with me being present, there was only 4 other people I could nominate, which was Athon, Colin, Snowy, and you.
Yeah, but we also we talked about it. We were gonna put Aethon and Colin up.
Yeah, and so I put up Anton simply because I wanted to make it. If I'm being
Oh.
honest, I also had a past relationship. I know Colin in a lot of different other orgs, so I like him a lot. And I simply decided, since he's not that active, I thought maybe I could try to get him more active if I saved him with that nomination, which of course he didn't, and of course led him being voted out right after my presidency. But I felt like I was at the bottom at this point because I wasn't safe once again. So that's why I decided I wanted to save Colin despite himself being on the more
Okay.
inactive side, simply because I knew him like you knew you and those other people, and I felt like if those people were keeping each other safe because of past relationships, then I'd want to do the same thing with Colin. And Snowy was simply on a gut choice because I felt like he's a strong player, so he would be one of the players to save me if he ever won Shogun. And it worked out because he won Shogun and he saved me, so I knew I made a right choice there in not nominating. I wasn't really worried about you going home. I didn't want you to go home. I was simply doing what was best for my game at that point, which was to put you up as a pawn, because you already went up like twice before that.
Yeah.
So I simply knew you probably weren't going to go, and I just simply placed you as a pawn.
I have another question. You were saying something in your speech before. I thought it was a little bit hypocritical. You were saying something about bitter jury votes, but if you remember in Kill, the reason you said you did put me up for elimination is because you that blindside and Kill with Cash. So was that a lie, or was this thing just a lie now?
Final two.
Your microphone's cut out
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Why does it keep cutting out the phone?
I think
Oh,
you're
you're
just
fine
like
now.
standing too far away from it, probably.
Yeah, it keeps like turning the volume all the way up and then turning it all the way down.
Okay, well, if I'm being honest, it really wasn't a bitter vote. I might have, but I truly wasn't being bitter when I voted Spooky to win that season instead of you. I truly felt like simply Spooky had a better game, and they played a lot more like a hero and someone that played more loyal. Because we were in an alliance, and you straight up lied to me and made lies against my back to Cash and tried to get Cash to vote me out. So, I mean, I was a little hurt by that, but if I think about game-wise, Spooky played really hard and really well in the end. And I truly just believe they would be a
Okay.
better winner because
Wrong org.
they seemed a bit. They played a good game. Like I was loyal to them from the start, and and this is kind of what I'm trying to get here. Spooky was my ally. Ace was the person that backstabbed me. Why would I vote someone who backstabbed me when I can vote for the person I've worked with to the very end? Like, I would vote Spooky over Ace because I worked with Spooky and I feel like their
Okay.
game was better because I knew their game more than Ace.
Logan, can I ask you a question about this real quick?
Yeah.
So let's say you were still in Kill and Ace was up for elimination. Would you vote him off over Spooky?
Yes, I would. I would
So
vote
you're
out
saying
Ace
you would
over
vote off
Spooky.
the villain person who blindsided people, or use people, as you said, pawns over the player who hasn't blindsided or been mean to people?
See, I'm a little confused over this question because if you're telling me to vote someone out between Ace and Spooky, Spooky was my ally. Ace is not my ally because they were making lies about me behind my back.
I'm not
So
talking.
I'm a
I
little
wasn't
confused on
talking.
what you're trying to get at here because obviously I would vote Spooky to stay because I know Spooky would work
Okay,
with me.
let
I
me
knew
change up
Spooky
the
would
words.
keep me safe. I knew
Logan.
Spooky would work with me. I
Logan,
knew Ace
shush.
wouldn't because Ace just tried to get me out.
Let
So
me
I'm a
reword.
little confused on what you're trying to get at here.
You said that twice. Let me rephrase the way I said this. Let's say you were in a final five situation. The villain of the season was up for vote, and then the hero of the season was also up for vote. Who would you vote off?
So if I'm taking out the hero or the villain,
Yes.
well, it's weird to give roles out like that because it's hard to really tell on who's being a villain and a hero because you don't know most of the gameplay. But I would still vote out the villain because the villain is untrustworthy. They don't have any. You don't
So,
really know what they'll do next because they are willing to do whatever they can to get further in the game.
so Logan, in my opinion at the moment, what you've said about yourself, you used Ace as a pawn and and put one of your friends that you knew of from prior experience up for eviction. Wouldn't you classify that as a villain type player?
No, I
You would
wouldn't
not.
say I was
You
being a
wouldn't
villain. I was simply being someone trying
to
to
get
survive.
farther
Because
in the game, like you just said.
so you're saying I'm a villain who I barely knew, that makes me a villain because I put them up instead of my friends?
No,
Is that what you're saying? Because that makes me angry. Because
No.
there's no way I'm classified as a villain because I put up Ace and Anton, which I didn't even know Anton. I never talked to him, so of course I'm going to put him up against my friends. I don't like Ace because he blindsided me in a season like a few weeks ago. Like, of course I'm
Logan.
going to put him up over my friends. That doesn't make
Logan.
me a villain. That's simply playing a game because I knew...
So Logan, you're calling everyone else who's up for elimination that your friends, correct? Didn't you say you didn't have any
Olin and Snowy were
alliances?
my friends because I knew them.
Didn't you say
The
you
only people
didn't
I
have
know
any
that are still in this
alliances
game is
or
Snowy,
prior aspect
and I
people
don't even
before?
know Mayo and Snowy,
You
but
kind
they
of
are my allies. Those are my only two allies that I have, because everyone else has been lying
didn't
to me.
but didn't you say before that you didn't have any alliances or allies at the start? You said that yourself. So you lied about that to ignore Snowy and
So you
Mayo.
keep trying to, like, say I'm a liar and stuff, when they
No,
are
I'm
simply my
saying
allies.
you're.
Because those are
No,
the
I'm
two
not
people
saying
that
you're
voted
lying.
me for
I'm not
president
saying you're
just
lying.
now.
I'm just
So
saying
I
you're
would have
putting
a feeling
loopholes
they
in
would be
your own
my allies
story.
if they're voting me for president. Just because I have two allies beats... My two allies doesn't
Logan,
beat the whole rest of the group that you have, because I know you
Logan,
have people like Air,
I do
you
not
definitely
have
have
the rest of the group.
Sam,
I do
you
not have the
definitely
rest of the
have,
group.
like, you have allies, so I don't understand why.
Sam put me up for eviction.
Okay,
I do not
congrats.
have as many allies as you think I
Samo
do.
has made me unsafe twice. They
Cool, we're
took
in the same
away my
position.
safety when I was safe. And you want to say that she... This, like...
Grasping at straws.
Okay. Well, my
What was
question's done. I know who I'm gonna vote for. There's just one. Logan, I will just tell you right now, I am voting for you. But it was for one thing you said. You were saying you would vote. It's not because you didn't vote me. I'm not bitter about that. But it's because you said that you would rather vote like a friend or an ally over someone that played the better game. That's just a biased jury person, and I don't really like that. And I know if I do go in
You
final
think
two,
I'm
now that's
simply a biased juror?
from what you said,
Because
yes,
I
I do.
truly said in my question that you gave me simply that I didn't think you played the better game. I don't think you played the better game. So you can vote me. I think that's a stupid move of you because Yushki truly has the game wrapped around their finger. I feel like they're going to make it to the end if they don't go out here. And they'll probably
I
win
do
because they
not
are
have
a
the
very
game wrapped.
loyal player.
If I had the game wrapped around my finger, I would not be in this situation. That's just
But
a
you have
straight
the
up fact.
majority here.
I do not have the majority here.
Yeah, you do.
You can put me back down now, Ghost.
Yeah.
There's not a single person that has been
Snowy,
willing
you
to
want
talk
to
to me ever
ask a
since I was
question?
able to.
I think, whoa!
Snowy,
you
have
should
you
ask
ever
me.
asked a question at an elimination meeting?
Yo, Snowy, welcome.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi. I trying to think of something to ask because I don't know what's going to happen.
Take your time, take your time. Any question you ask will insult me and Logan arguing, don't worry. This is an elimination meeting. It wouldn't be that important.
Okay. Why do you deserve to stay? If that's easy.
Who?
Like both of you. Like what? Why do you deserve to stay over the other person?
Well, I'm gonna bring up a point Ace said, and another point that Logan said himself. He himself says that villains should be voted off before. Someone who would vote someone would vote would vote people off he knew and lie to other people. I would personally hero category, right? Because that's how the categories work. Just kind of makes sense. Another thing Logan said himself, he has won 2 positions of power and
I
has
didn't win
allies.
too.
No, you did win 2.
Yeah.
Winning an election and winning a challenge, that is, those is a win. Can't if you won it, how you if you won it, you can't not win it because that's how it works. You see, it's kind of how English works.
I barely have it tried.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Yeah, and I just believe that I'm not in a position where I can control the game because I've won 1 position of power and I shared it with you, Snowy, because like we kind of tied. So I haven't even had a full position of power at all this entire season. Meanwhile, Mr. won a challenge and a vote. So that just proves that there's a social and a challenge aspect in there somewhere. Yeah.
I
I simply feel like a lot of the things that have been said about Yushki is simply trying to act like I've had this big power position and how, oh, I've always kept myself safe from the start despite being unsafe, or how I have such a good social game despite not being put up about not being safe once. So I feel like Yushki is simply playing up my game to the point where I am a huge threat to the person when I truly am not a threat. I just simply didn't have a good enough social game to be picked to be safe. Because I was simply disposable to them. If I went, I went. It wouldn't have been an issue to them, which is why they haven't made me safe. So I truly feel like Yushki has simply been upplaying my game
Oh,
to
wait,
the point where I'm seen as the bigger threat, even though truly Yushki should be the one to go here.
um
Right.
I
Uh,
think oh wait, is someone
yeah, being honest, I feel like both of us are like making our games seem either worse and the other person's better than they actually are, because that's what an elimination meeting's all about. You gotta plead your case to to all the other players out there. Now, the one thing Logan's messed up on is he's kind of like talked about other players and how their votes have gone and how he's decided over that, even though he hasn't been in like a safe position. Whilst me, on the other hand, have just been going with the flow, listening to other players. Haven't won a single challenge. Like I've said, well, half a challenge I counted as that, to be honest. And like I'm not in the best position in this game, I'll be honest. Like that's that's really all I can say. Yeah.
Um, okay, I'm gonna move Snowy back down, and you guys can have some closing statements, and we'll end this. So, Logan, do you want to go first?
I mean, at this point, I've tried. I've talked to everyone that has a vote. They simply, Ace just told me that I'm getting voted. I've been told that TCC and Samo are voting me. I've talked to them. They don't respond to me. So I simply tried. I still feel like it'd be a lot smarter for everyone to not vote me. I feel like voting me is simply a waste of a move because I truly believe that I am not a threat in this game. I have not been picked to be safe once, except for the one time where I was safe. Yushki has a bunch of allies that are loyal to them, and I know that because they've been safe every single time, except for now. So I truly just feel like You have to look at the bigger picture here. And if you're trying to go into itty bitty points like, oh, but he's done this or he's done that, and you're not looking at the fact that you've been safe every single time, and how they obviously have allies that I will.
I have your mic's cutting out once again.
Really hard. I'd like to finish.
I was just pointing out your mic was turning off.
But if you're not gonna look at the bigger picture and see that Yushki is a much bigger threat than I am, then do what you want, I guess. But I really think you should save me here.
Alright. My closing statement is yeah. First off, I suck at speeches. I believe most of you know this, considering I've only made it to the end in an org once, and who got the worst speech award? Me. Uh, so I'm not like the best public speaker, but I do believe that Logan should be voted in what I would call like as a villain-esque player, just from the fact that he's thrown out other people. I've just gone with the flow, gone with what other people wanted, gone with what Snowy's wanted from like when he won the challenge, he wanted to keep I think it was Samo safe, so I kept Samo safe obviously. I wasn't gonna turn on him or anything. Not planning on doing that, because blindsiding's useless in my opinion. Lying to yeah, it's just I personally believe Logan has been underestimating himself in his own head. I know a lot of players do that just because of how orgs work. He's survived, what, 7 rounds at this point, being unsafe every single time. That's not a small accomplishment. That's actually something really big. So being safe each round, I do agree that does put a target on my back, but I haven't done anything significant enough to win in the end. So yeah.
Okay, this concludes the longest elimination meeting ever. You'll have 15 minutes after this to vote and whatnot, and then I'll announce the elimination once that's done. Alright.
Alright.